Hey y'all! If you've been thinking about getting your real estate license while working full time and wondering how in the world are you going to fit this into your busy schedule, then you have come to the right place. Let me save you some stress right now. You don't need the perfect schedule to get started. Listen, I work a full-time corporate job. I also do real estate. I'm also married and I create content for YouTube and have time to still do all of the other things that I want to do. So if you've been thinking how to get your real estate license while managing a corporate job all at the same time, you're in the right place. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can earn your North Carolina real estate license while working a full-time job, study tips for a busy schedule, and how I manage both careers today. But before we jump in, I want to thank today's sponsor, Aceable Agent. They offer a state-approved online real estate school here in North Carolina, as well as other states. And I love that it's designed for busy people who are managing family, work, and everything else that life throws at us. As someone who now works full-time while also growing my business at the same time, having a flexible self-paced course like this one would have been exactly what I needed if I was to get licensed today. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. If you are thinking about how you can get your real estate license in the state of North Carolina while working a full-time job, and how in the world you're going to find the time to do all of this, let me be the first to tell you that it honestly starts with choosing a real estate school that fits your schedule with the time that you have. You want something that's going to fit your life as it is right now, instead of expecting your life to revolve around the real estate course. Honestly, that's one of the main reasons that I was so excited to partner with Aceable Agent, because they are a state-approved online real estate school here in North Carolina, as well as many other states. Since I now have my license and I am a full-time real estate agent here in North Carolina, I know exactly what it's like to manage family, work, and juggle all of the extracurriculars in between. And looking back, I wish I had an option like this. If you're in North Carolina, I think you would definitely appreciate how flexible the courses are. Everything is literally online and self-paced, so you can study whenever it works best for you, which could be during your lunch break, after work, while you're working out, while you're waiting for an appointment, or even while you are on the passenger side during a road trip. They also have audio learning, which is perfect if you're anything like me, because I love to maximize every single minute of my day. So that could be a great tool for you as well if you like to study while you're on the go. And not only that, they have 24/7 instructor support. So if you have a question at any time at all, they are available and on demand. If you're in North Carolina, their basic package starts at $479, but you can use my code Camille for 20% off if you are interested in getting signed up today. And also, if you're actually watching this video from another state, click the link in the description box of this video, because Aceable Agent is also available in other states across the country. Now, once you've done all of your coursework, you will still need to pass the North Carolina real estate exam to become a licensed real estate agent. The good news is that testing centers offer appointment times for you to schedule out your exam Monday through Saturday, which is really good to have that flexibility, especially on a Saturday if you are typically working Monday through Friday. But yes, y'all, this is why I'm such a huge advocate for Aceable Agent, the online real estate school, because it works for people like you, people like me who have busy work schedules, but you still have goals that you want to knock out. It's so easy to literally just fit it easily into your schedule to be able to study on the go, get all your coursework done, have access to instructors 24/7 to help you out, and overall, it's just a really good option. Okay, so you might be wondering, how can I really do all of this? How can I make it work? I am here to tell you that I think it is so smart for you to get your real estate license while you're working. You don't have to quit your job before you can become a licensed real estate agent. I actually think that doing both at the same time, at least for a season, can be very advantageous and beneficial to the growth of your business. And also one of the smartest decisions that you can make. For me, one of the biggest reasons is security. There was a season where I was laid off and I was very quickly reminded with how fast your income could be taken away from you, and that income could disappear very quickly. I feel like with real estate, it gives me an opportunity to build additional income that no one can take away from me. I'm literally building my own business, and you could too while you're also working your 9 to 5. Look, people are always going to need housing. They're always going to need a place to stay, and people are always moving. Whether the market is hot or not, or slow or fast, people are always going to be renting, relocating, investing, selling, buying, and having that real estate license and that additional skill set to be able to help the people closest to you or friends and colleagues on your job can help not only them, but it can help you too. Ultimately, having another skill set underneath your belt and in your back pocket is going to create more opportunities for you and for your family. The other reason that I feel like getting a real estate license was so beneficial is because it's also flexible. So you literally can create your own hours while you're working a 9 to 5. And you get to build your business around your current schedule and what works for you. You don't have to go all in on day one. You can slowly build your pipeline, gain experience, and decide if real estate is really something that you want to do full time. Now, if you're trying to figure out if this is a route that you should even go, Aceable Agent actually has an online free career quiz that you can take to help you decide if real estate may be a good fit for you. And here's something I want you to think about. How amazing would it be if your corporate paycheck paid for all the bills and then your real estate commission check paid for things like family vacations, trips, extracurriculars, debt, and all the other goals that you have your mind set on? Think about it. How good would that really be? All right, y'all. So of course you're going to have to study if this is the route that you want to take. And being that you work a full-time job, you're going to have to fit it in. So one of the things that I highly recommend is time blocking is going to be critical throughout your career if you do decide to embark on your real estate journey. And I do recommend time blocking at least 30 to 45 minutes every single day so that you can study the material. This could mean you could study during your lunch break. You can wake up a little bit early to study the material, and then you can use your evenings as well as another study break. The great thing about Aceable Agent is they have digestible study lessons and bite-sized lessons that you can easily incorporate into those short time blocks every single day. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but Aceable Agent also has a mobile app. So when you're out on the go, when you are on your lunch break or early in the mornings, you can literally pull out your phone, get on the app, and also study the material. As I mentioned before, I love a good audio lesson, and they have audio lessons that you can listen to when you are out on the go. But not only that, you can listen to the audio when you are commuting to work, when you are commuting back home from work, when you have to walk your dogs in the morning, when you're cooking dinner, or if you're just doing chores around the house, you can literally have an earbud in and listen to the material while you're doing all of the things. Also, one thing I want to mention is pay close attention to the North Carolina exam outline, because that is literally going to let you know what areas you should focus on the most, because each section of the exam holds a certain weight. So that way you know exactly what to focus most of your study efforts on. And it will also help you study more strategically instead of literally trying to remember every little thing about every single topic. All right, y'all. So once you have officially gotten your license, you may be wondering, how in the world are you going to manage your full-time job and build a real estate business at the same time? It can be done, but I will be the one to tell you that you're going to have to rely heavily on systems and organization. If you're going to balance two careers at the same time, organization is going to be very key. One of the things that I personally do is I create email templates, especially ones that I'm sending out over and over again. So if I have a new buyer that might be interested in utilizing me to be their real estate agent, I will send out the same email template. I will send out the same email template for buyer consultations. If they have questions about pre-approval and getting it approved for a home loan, I have a template available for that, as well as all of my lender partners that they can reach out to. I have buyers set up on drip campaigns, which is basically customized campaigns that are catered to different buyers with where they are in the process, so that I can stay top of mind. And those emails will go out to those buyers and prospective clients while I'm at work. It's an automation type of thing. I also batch all of my content for social media, typically on the weekends or during the weekday, because with me working during the day, of course, I don't have time to show a lot of properties during the day. So I make sure to maximize that time, especially on the weekends, with visiting new construction communities, new homes, scheduling showings for my buyer clients, having consultations on the weekends. And then another thing that I do is utilize a Google form. So when I have someone that is interested interested in buying or selling, they can simply fill out a form and then I will get back with them. They can also use my calendar booking link to book appointments where I have blocked out times during my lunch break and then also in the evenings and then again on the weekends. And also, you guys, as my business have grown, I realized that I don't have to do everything on my own. And a good thing about having a job while building your real estate business is that you'll potentially have a little extra money to invest back into your business in systems, processes, and people. So you can hire help. You can hire a transaction coordinator to help you keep all of your files organized and help you stay on top of things with your clients. You can hire virtual assistants that can help you with email templates and social media content and all of the things. And this will allow you to free up your time and allow you to actually focus on growing your business, so you're not so caught up in the admin and day-to-day tasks. And also, meal prepping will save you so much time during the week to put back into your business. As of now, we have a family friend that will literally prep all of our meals for us, where I don't have to cook, I don't have to wash the dishes. All I have to do is eat and clean up after myself. And that has been a huge time saver. And so then that allows you to get your evenings back to be able to prospect and build your business. And another thing about balancing full-time work plus real estate is that you're going to be in a very unique position, because most of the people that you're going to come into contact with on a daily basis is going to be people from your job. So a lot of your real estate conversations will be with the people on your job, and you never know where your next client is going to come from. It may come from the people that you work with. Okay, y'all, so if you're wondering like what does a typical day even looks like while you're working a corporate job, let me share with you how my days go. So typically I wake up very early in the morning, usually about 5 a.m. or possibly 6. It depends on how I'm feeling and if I got enough rest from the night before. But typically, as soon as I wake up, I will check all of my text messages and then I will check my emails. From there, I would just scroll my phone to look at what has come on the market in terms of new homes, so that if I have any buyer clients that are looking for any properties, I can already be proactive in sending them those properties. Then, as I'm on my way to my corporate job in the morning, I may listen in on real estate podcasts and anything that may be going on in the real estate industry by certain small groups from others that are in the industry talking about different topics. Okay, so now that I'm at work, we're doing our thing, we're at work, and then come time for a lunch break. My lunch break will vary. Typically, I always try to prospect for new business or new clients that I can work with. Because we have a more limited amount of time than someone who is a full-time agent, I do set smaller goals for myself. So some of the goals that I have is to contact at least 5 people about real estate every single day. And because you're working, text message typically works best for me because it's not long telephone questions, where I can just do a quick check-in with people that might be interested in real estate, or me just reaching out to do a little check-in. I'll also use my lunch break to follow up with new leads or vendors, especially if I have somebody under contract. I could follow up on scheduling inspections, follow up with the attorney, follow up with the lender to see where we are in the process, things like that. And if I have enough time, I will definitely hop on a 10 to 15 minute buyer consultation and quickly let them know what they need to do to get prepared for home ownership. Sometimes these consultation calls are more like a discovery call to see exactly where they are and give them practical steps that they can take as they prepare for the home ownership journey. And then I go back to work after lunch break, and on my breaks, every now and then I may send a text message back if somebody has responded. And then when I get off of work, I will return phone calls as I am driving on my way home, again to maximize time. I may have an impromptu discovery call on my drives home as well. And yes, I just pretty much focus on all of my follow-up as I am driving home. Now, there are certain days where I may have 1 showing or 2 lined up and on my schedule. And on those days, I do work hard to coordinate with my husband, because we also have little ones, so that I can be present for my client and attend the showing. So there are some evenings where I may have showings scheduled after work, and sometimes I may have to take my kids along with me, and then other times I am able to go alone. The great thing again about this business is the flexibility, and it's your business. You choose the clients that you want to work with, and you choose your schedule. So it can definitely work with working a full-time job. Now on weekends, that's when I really dive into the business, because that's when I have the most amount of time. So you're talking buyer consultations, scheduling showings, attending showings with my clients, visiting new construction communities, getting social media content, batching my content, editing, recording for YouTube, like all the things on the weekends. But you do have to be very organized and systematic with how you do things. And then typically on Sundays, I do a full reset. I actually have a little calendar and an agenda where I plan out my week, all of the people that I need to get in contact with that week. And then also I set little mini goals for myself. I kind of reevaluate all of my goals and how I did last week. And then I pinpoint exactly who I need to follow up with in any high priority tasks for that week specifically. Having that Sunday planning session really makes my week feel a lot more smoother. Now listen, I know a lot of people worry about having a corporate job and how they will be perceived as a real estate professional, but I am here to tell you to look at the brighter side of things. Having a corporate job, especially while you're building your business, will give you financial stability. It'll give you multiple streams of income while you're building that business, and you won't feel that pressure like a new real estate agent that has no income coming in to get that first sale. You'll be able to build it authentically and at your own pace. And then also with, again, any of that additional income that you are earning, you can literally invest it right back into the business to help you accelerate your business even more. And you can speak with the people on your job. You never know. There are so many people, whether first clients or the people that they work with, and your corporate job is going to still give you that disposable income to be able to indulge in all of the extracurricular activities that you like to do. Years ago, I loved to dance. I still love to dance, but I would take so many dance classes and I would meet so many other dancers, and some of those dancers actually became my actual clients. So being involved in the community, being involved in things that you already like will help you actually grow your business, because that's what real estate is about. It's about making new relationships, maintaining those relationships, nurturing those relationships, weaving in real estate. And one day that person is going to need to make a move, or their family member, their friend, their coworker is going to need to make a move, and they're going to think about you because y'all are in close relationship. And then finally, the other good thing about keeping your job while going into real estate is you'll quickly know if real estate is right for you, because while you're working, you'll know if you have a passion for the industry. You'll know if real estate is something that you truly want to do full time, or that you could see yourself doing for a very long time. Look, here's my final thoughts. If there is one thing that I want you to take away from today's video, I want you to know this. You do not have to quit your job to start doing real estate. There are many successful real estate agents who do both. Start with where you are, stay consistent, and use the time that you have. Those small steps, they add up. And if you're in North Carolina and you're looking to get started ASAP, I would highly recommend Aceable Agent to go ahead and get started. I love the fact that their courses are built for people who are busy, people like you, people like me, who is managing family, work, and everything in between that life throws at us. And don't forget to use my code Camille to save 20% off of your course. I'd love to hear from y'all in the comments. Let me know if you're currently working full time and you plan on getting your real estate license. I'm also a very open book, happy to help with any questions that you may have. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and also thank you Aceable Agent for sponsoring today's video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.